When submitting a Nastran job for analysis through Patran, Patran must know which version of Nastran to use. You might have more than one Nastran version, or the Nastran version you have installed might be older or newer than your Patran version. If no valid link exists, you will receive the following error when trying to analyze your model. As you can see, Patran tried to execute Nastran and reports the following error: no such file or directory. This error is followed by the following message, which relates to a file that we will refer to later. So make a note of this file, since you might need to find it manually later. To see which version of Nastran Patran is trying to reach, click on Translation Parameters. Here, in this box, you may select a different version of Nastran if you have more than one installed, or have another version installed from the one shown here. But changing this value might not be the only reason for this error. Another problem can simply be that either Nastran isn't installed in the first place, or that your version of Nastran is installed somewhere else. To correct this or check if this might be the problem, do the following. Go to the Start menu, All Programs, MSC Software, Patran. Ensure that you pick the version that you're currently using in case you have more than one installed, and then pick the configuration utility. In some rare cases, this utility form might not open due to some Windows DLL related issue, in which case you will have to make the edits manually in the p3trans.ini file mentioned earlier. If you have this issue, I will show you how to make the next edits shown here using the utility manually at the end of this video. When checking or setting the link to Nastran, click on Nastran on this form. Depending on the year number chosen under Translation Parameters, view the related number behind a command, in our case 2014, and view the path to the Nastran executable. In this case, Patran was set to use Nastran 2014.1, but upon viewing the path to the Nastran I have installed, I found that I have an older version of Nastran. And I found that by going to the installation folder where my MSC software is installed and going to the MSC Nastran folder, and here I can see in the folder the version number is reflected, in my case 2014.0. Inside this folder I'll have a few additional folders, and we need to expand all the way to the bin folder. From this installation folder in Windows Explorer, I can now see that I have version 2014.0 installed, and this version of Patran by default is pointing to Nastran 2014.1, the same version number as the version of Patran. Since I have no need at this point to use the newer version of Nastran, which means I will need to install it first, I will simply change the path to point to my version of Nastran. Simply copy and paste the path to the Nastran executable to this location next to the relevant release number over here. And then also edit the file name to match that of the executable in the bin folder like this. So I'll delete the entry, paste my folder, add the backslash, and enter the file name of this version of Nastran. And as you can see, there's a few over here. I'll simply select the one that says NAST20140.exe, and I'll add this in here. You can also change the width of this folder to browse for this location manually, but I find it quicker to do it my way. After setting the new path, simply close this form, and on the previously opened form, make sure that you select the Save and Exit option under the File option. Now we can test if this link has indeed been fixed by simply re-executing the analysis from Patran. Since the analysis name didn't change, you will be asked whether or not to overwrite the previously created input file and any existing old results under the same name. Simply accept this and see whether or not Nastran is now running. As you can see now, Nastran is now running, which means the link was correctly made. If you weren't able to open the configuration utility, which happens in some rare cases, search and find the p3 trans ini file in the Patran installation folder of the version you are using. Simply navigate to the folder version number of Patran that you have installed and are using, and search for this file. Now open this file using a text editor like Notepad. You will notice that the contents shown in the configuration utility are reflected in this file, where the utility has in fact saved your changes. This means you simply have to follow the exact same procedure and edit the path in the relevant line next to the Nastran version number specified in Patran under translation parameters to point to the correct Nastran executable you have installed. Since I saved my changes through the configuration utility, those changes are now reflected already in this file and I don't have to make any further changes to this file. If you made any necessary edits to this file, simply save and close the file and try again to run your analysis. And this is how to successfully link Patran to the version of Nastran that you have installed.